Now, there's a couple things that I do know about these flags. We're going to start with 3 blocks of life. There is a random number of heart containers in the pool. We're going to need to find the items for the spells, as well as all of the magic containers are going to be required. So, to get the item, let's see, it's New Kasuto, Old Kasuto, and 2 other towns that are normally on the eastern continent would have 5, 6, 7, and 8 magic container requirements, respectively. Those are all enabled.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if, let's say, we weren't randomizing things very well and Old Kasuto had thunder, you've got to find all 4 magic jars. The trophy, the child, and the medicine will all lead to spells. They are not free. Guaranteed long great palace, so that means Thunderbird's definitely required. So Reflect and Thunder are both a necessity.
And they find either 3 or 6. Ryan 7 has found it. Okay, I recognize that cave that RCS is in, but I don't remember what's at the end of it.
Well, it's a randomizer. If you knew what was at the end of it, I think we'd love to hear your predictions on tonight's lottery numbers.
Okay, I don't remember what in vanilla is at the end of it. I did not notice what town Ryan 7 just found, but he did find the entrance to Death Mountain. And it's an any key.
Yeah, that's going to make dungeon diving a lot more palatable, I think, for Rose City Saint and the Countess. Rose City Saint already picking up the any key. The Countess about to pick up the any key, if he can keep the jumping going there.
And RCS back to, that's either 3 or 6. I can tell it's 3 or 6 because of the capitals on the columns. Those that have the ionic capital like that are 3 and 6, and you can't tell which one is which until you go into it a ways.
Fun fact, both of them have Rebanax in them.
Well, for certain values of fun, I don't consider Rebanax to be fun.
Well, they're easy. You just jump on their head a bunch and, you're good to go. But that might be why we don't see any of the runners heading in, because they know they do not have downstab at present. So,
and RCS has found the item cave in Death Mountain. And it was right near the entrance. Victor Santa Fe, on the other hand, has found the 3-6.
Taking down an Iron Knuckle for a level up. I don't expect him to stick around. Yep, up and A-ing, and off he goes.
And Countess finds the Trophy Cave having a 500-point bag.
That would explain all of the early levels.
And Victor Santa Fe finding the cave that we know has the any key at the end of it.
And now it's just a matter of, can he make it to the end of it? Just a small sliver of life, and it looks like we see the raft on the Countess's side.
Ooh, raft! Oh, raft get. RCS, the cave that RCS found, which is normally the hammer, has a 500-point bag.
Well, I guess this
And-
early on, it's not entirely awful to have a nice little level boost.
And Countess finds the water town of Saria.
Now, unfortunately, I don't believe he'll be able to make it across without having the note. The bridge will block him from exiting to the left.
And Boots. We've got Boots in Magic Container Cave.
Oh, Ryan 7 finding the boots. So each of our runners choosing slightly divergent strategies. The Countess picking up our first spell, which is the spell.
For 112 at Magic 1.
Yeah. At least he should have some time before making his way to New Kasuto and picking up a couple magic jars along the way.
And Victor Santa Fe finding Hammer Cave, and he's going to be very disappointed with what he finds out. Well, maybe not.
Know.
Maybe not. It's 500. It's 500 points, so it's at least one level.
Yeah, it might be enough for attack 3, which is a thing. And 3 is better than 2, so...
And Ryan 7 finds Fairy Town, the harbor town of Mido, if I recall correctly. And he finds another town, and I do not remember if that is Jump Town or Shield Town. I'm assuming that's going to be Jump Town. Or Shield Town, rather.
Oh,
and it's
no.
fire.
And part of the finals flags, this is one thing that I forgot at the beginning. Fire is linked to nothing.
Ew.
Yeah.
RCS, meanwhile, picks up the spell.
And Countess picking up the boots, so equaling Ryan 7. Actually, coming a little bit ahead, the Countess having the raft in tow as well.
Where was Raft? Was that in Stonehenge?
I believe yes. It was on a forest tile.
And Victor Santa Fe finding his boots.
Middle of a swamp, I believe. So it would make sense to me that somebody, tried to go wading through the swamp and just kind of beached it, couldn't find their way out.
I remember when I would play this game as a kid that I would use those birds because they constantly spawned. And we found 5. Countess has found 5. Anyway, I used to use those birds to grind levels on because they constantly spawned.
That must have taken a bit of time. I don't recall them giving very many points per kill.
10.
So Victor Santa Fe finding Fire Source, Rose City Saint, a P bag.
RCS getting the P bag, and Countess has found Great Palace. So we've got either 3 or 6, 5, and Great Palace on the east. Or west, sorry.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see with the All-Key and Raft in hand, I think the Countess is going to be exploring very heavily the eastern part of the map to get over to the eastern continent. We know 1, 2, and whichever one of 3 and 6 is not around, as well as 4. Oh, the debated raft spot for Victor Santa Fe, where he may have found the raft spot and just kind of went, oh, I don't have a raft.
I think he's found the raft spot and just didn't have a raft. He and Ryan 7 do not have the raft of our featured runners. Countess is going to get that fire spell.
Yeah. It's there, so... Let's see. I'm somewhat surprised that the Countess is not just heading east at this point.
Well, he may be looking for... He may be looking to see what other items he can find over here on the east, on the west.
I believe there are 6 spots to get items from, and we know of the All-Key, Boots, Raft, P-Bag.
2 P-Bags.
2 P-Bags. So there's 1 item left.
And it's in Death Mountain.
So that's the Spectacle Rock in Death Mountain?
Yep.
So what are they doing?
I don't think Countess knows all of those.
Now, again, I could be wrong. And probably am, because, you know, most of the NPC sprites are my spirit animal in this game, and, you know, I know nothing. I profess to know nothing. And it's just the way things are.
Yeah, I'm not exactly... I'm not any good at this game. I will freely admit that. And these 4 runners are much better than I am. So clearly, if I'm thinking, why are they not going east? There's got to be a reason. Countess has gone east.
Yeah, so I think Countess has kind of figured it out, going, all right, well, there's nothing left for me here. Looks like Countess picking up the trophy.
It's a trophy. He may go right back and he may go right back to the west and pick up the spell from it. Or not.
No, I don't think so. Just because a lot of what the runners want is probably on the eastern continent right now, which is a fairly easy to finish dungeon, or excuse me, palace, in 1. 2 is on the eastern side as well. The other of 3 and 6, well, 2 could be glove blocked.
2 is very likely to be glove blocked.
And Ryan 7 finding his raft in Stonehenge.
And for the old lady's item, you need 5 magic containers.
Yeah, in this town, yes, it's 5. The next is 6.
No, he's in New Casuto, but the old woman's item in New Casuto requires 5 magic containers.
Ah, okay.
And he will not be able to get the spell in New Casuto.
Nope, because he needs 7 for that spell. So the old man will just be like, nope, get off my lawn. And Countess, hitting the triple whammy, not being able to cast spell. So that's not good. And Countess finding...
He's found Old Kasuda, which he won't be able to get the spell there either, because he does not have enough magic containers.
Yeah, that's going to be a negatory until he gets 8 magic containers. So at least he knows where he needs to go for the 7 and 8. But unfortunately, got to find some magic containers before moving on. That's why I think Countess is probably going to look for Palace 1. If he can get the little bit of luck on his side, pick up a magic jar, maybe get another item. It could be a magic jar that leads to a magic jar. Who knows? But,
well, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
No, it wouldn't.
Because he's probably going to need those magic jars.
I would very much suspect so. We know the eastern towns all require magic jars in some way, shape, or form. And Rose City Saint actually finding Fairy. So this will net him downstab.
Wait, where did he find Fairy?
I have no idea.
Oh, he has a trophy. He went back. He got the trophy and went back.
Dunked the trophy. Ooh. That's actually a really good play for Rose City Saint, because he has successfully got Fairy and put it to good use. At this point, well, it is kind of like lap 2 or 3 of the Daytona 500 here, but I would say Rose City Saint, starting to push out a little bit of a lead here as Ryan 7 makes his way to the Eastern Continent.
RCS maybe has taken a couple second lead here in the Zelda 2 Randomizer Grand Prix.
Yes.
But never count Team Ferrari out.
Oh, they'll screw up their pit stops like they always do. It looks like the Countess has found himself into one of the palaces.
Yeah, he's found a palace. It may be 1.
With the way this is laid out, I believe 1 is the correct answer.
It's 1. Because I recognize that item room. And the item out of 1 is, unfortunately, a pea bag. Boom, boom.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate on the side of the Countess,
but he can still go and clear. He can go still clear Horsehead and get a crystal.
Well, he has the crystals. I think he wants to place those crystals. So, yeah, minor semantic details, but yeah, I get where we're going.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
And Victor Santa Fe still seemingly a little lost trying to find the raft.
Meanwhile, Countess is trying to find his way to Horsehead.
Yeah, I believe Ryan 7 picked up the trophy and gonna follow in Countess's footsteps and not immediately turn in the trophy.
Well, as we've discussed earlier, that is the percentage play. And Victor Santa Fe is heading into 5.
Well, let's see. There's no glove block that I'm aware of, but oh boy, is this going to be a bit of a labyrinth. And it looks like Countess up and A-ing. Going to restart the dungeon. Or the palace, excuse me.
Well, if... Oh, wait, yeah, he is on... Yes, we decided that was 5, because the Iron Knuckle statue didn't do anything.
Well, Rose City Saint about to get a little bad news. Opting
You could get worse news.
Well, given where the runners are, I think a pea bag is kind of like that slap in the face where it's like, yeah, you could have had like any other actual item in the pool instead, aside from like a one-up doll.
But instead, you got a pea bag.
Yeah, I think the levels are going to be the least of the runner's concerns at this point.
Which is probably yet another reason why I'm not any good at this game.
Oh, details. Countess finding Horsehead. Yeah.
And is melting Horsehead.
Well, I think you're supposed to have like attack 1 or maybe attack 2, but attack 3 and Horsehead. Oh. Ouchtown. Population. Horsehead.
Still better than Flavortown.
And it looks like Countess putting his level ups to pretty good use. I think he caught one right before.
And Countess on Maze Island.
Yeah, it's definitely a good play because we're gonna see
2 items and a palace, which is Palace 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely not 4. So Palace 2, unfortunately, the high likelihood of a glove block, and I believe it also means that the glove cannot be in Palace 2.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. I would think it could be.
Logically speaking, I believe since the glove block could happen before the item room is found, the game will not put the glove in Palace 2.
Okay.
Feel free to correct me in the chat if my logic is incorrect. But Rose City Saint and the Countess are both into Maze Island at this point.
And Countess is gonna attempt Palace 2.
It's definitely a risk, but risk versus reward, it could be worth it. Rose City Saint using fairy to good effect here. The fairy feet technique to skip some of these automatic encounters. So for those keeping track at home here, we have Victor Santa Fe in Palace 5, Countess is in Palace 2, and Ryan 7 about to finish Palace 1.
And to talk to say something to Dr. Nate in chat. Yeah, this game. A lot of people dismissed this game when it was new because it was very different. It was very dissimilar from the original Zelda, but it's a good game, and it's worth checking out.
Alright, so Ryan 7 and the Countess, as well as Rose City Saint, all finishing Palace 1.
Okay, Victor Santa Fe, something just happened on Victor Santa Fe's screen, and Rose City Saint finds one of the item locations on Maze Island, and that item is going to be another pea bag.
Ooh. Now, I'm starting to get a little worried here. And I'll tell you why. Because I know how the finals flags are configured, the pea bags are going to replace heart containers, potentially. And that's not a good thing for the runners, because I think they really want to have a couple more blocks of life past the 3 they're being afforded initially here.
I used to comms Max Rando. 1 block start with no hearts available.
Oh, mommy. No, thank you.
And Countess and Victor Santa Fe had something happen on his screen a little while ago, and Countess just had it happen again on his, and I will explain it. If you weren't sure what dungeon you were in, seeing the dropping blocks would tell you that is 2, because it doesn't change to the color of the dungeon until the block has dropped. And thank you to our tracker, Ginksy Girl, for letting us know that RCS also found the cross on Maze Island.
Ooh, so Maze Island just...
Maze Island, another strikeout.
Legend of Zelda 2, Greatest Misses compilation. A pea bag, the cross, and Ryan 7 casting the spell, finding the medicine.
Well, that'll be nice if he can find Denver.
And also of note, since New Kasuto is not hidden, there is a low likelihood of the flute being useful. However, the River Devil was in an actual location where it might be blocking something.
Is the River Devil Twitter feed still active?
Possibly. I mean, he's just kind of chilling in the...
Okay, we can guarantee you this is now 3. This is Dungeon 3, not Dungeon 6. Because that Iron Knuckle statue dropped a jar. It never drops a jar in 6.
Okay. So, Rose City Saint found the child as the item in this particular palace. So the Countess will probably suffer a similar fate.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Medicine will help him. Medicine will help when he goes back to get to Mido. Child is the one he needs for Denver.
Yeah, Rose City Saint and hopefully the Countess are going to pick up the child. Ryan 7. Oh no,
Ryan 7
Cronus.
is going to pick up the cross, and then is going to pick up and then is going to eventually find the other pea bag.
Yeah, it looks like he's found it right now. So on his way to get a little bit of bad news, although it will put him very close to a level up.
And RCS is noping out after finding the child.
Yeah, I think...
So that tells us that Valley of Death is going to be 6.
or 4, I believe. I don't think we've seen 4 yet.
Okay, we haven't seen 4. Good point. I was forgetting it's 2. It's 2 plus 2 plus Maze Island. Or 2 plus Valley of Death, rather.
Yeah, there's 2 out and about. Valley of Death will have one, which is the lava area, and Maze Island will be the 4th Eastern Continent Palace. And with the starting palace and Great Palace both on the starting Western Continent, that leaves us with 1, 2, 4, and the other of 3 and 6, which I believe is 3.
And Rose City Saint gets the item. He found a magic jar, and the item in New Kasuto is a heart container.
Yeah, so Ryan 7 and Rose City Saint back into New Kasuto, and definitely getting a quality of life upgrade, as I think that 4th block is going to do wonders for both of them right now.
And RCS casts the spell, and that's going to get him the medicine.
So we'll see Rose City Saint very likely to turn in the medicine as well, but we'll see how starved the runners are for items as opposed to any other means of progression.
Wait, I think there have to be 2 more items left on the in the west, because I think there has to be the Spectacle Rock on Death Mountain, and there's also the cave behind the boulder. Doesn't that have to be an item cave?
Yes, it is. You are correct. But neither of which can be the hammer.
Right.
You know, process of elimination says, all right, if I can get the hammer, which is somewhere else, then I can get these 2 items when I go back. If that makes sense. Oh, and Three-Eyed Rock is actually a thing. So we are going to have a need of the flute as well. So one of our palaces is gated behind the flute. So we'll see between Valley of Death and Three-Eyed Rock, which is Palace 6 and which is Palace 4.
Okay, and just to give a shameless event plug, on Thursday at 9:30 Eastern Time, the finals of the Zelda 2 Randomizer Standard Tournament will be held here. Will be held on Speed Gaming, on the Speed Gaming family of networks, featuring Dig Shake, the original developer of the randomizer. Victor Santa Fe, by the way, finally getting his raft. Featuring Dig Shake, who devised this randomizer, and Rose City Saint, who is in one of our featured runners.
Fun fact about that, Rose City Saint is the defending champion. However, this time
I'm
around,
shocked.
Dig Shake is our winner's bracket side contestant, so if Dig Shake were to lose the race versus Rose City Saint, they will run it back at a time to be determined later.
Oh, Rose City Saint's the defending champion?
Yes.
You can't see it, but this is my shocked face.
Yes, surprise, surprise, I know.
And Victor Santa Fe finds Trophy Cave, only to find it's a 500-point P-bag.
Yeah, Victor Santa Fe, unfortunately, significantly behind at this point because it took roughly 20 minutes past the rest of our other runners finding the raft for Victor Santa Fe to find the raft. Unfortunate for him, but hopefully we'll see how it works out.
And unless there's something across the water up there, that River Devil is not guarding anything.
Oh, well. We still need the flute for something, but, oh, I see. River Devil's trying to play lifeguard for us and go, no, this is the deep end of the pool. You gotta stay away. So our friendly River Devil is, trying to make sure that Link stays safe, does not drown himself in the water.
And Countess, I believe Countess went into 5. Yeah, that looks like 5. And the town of Naburu, Firetown, has Thunder.
Yeah, one of our required spells, Thunder, is needed to turn on the Thunderbird in the Great Palace, and also generally very useful spell.
I can remember seeing a few seeds on different flags that had fire linked to a spell linked to thunder. And RCS finds another magic container that puts him to 6.
Yeah, that's a really good find for Rose City Saint. We know Thunder isn't in play at this point, as it is obtainable through some means. However, Reflect, which is going to be necessary for Palace 4, is still at large, so we could have a little bit of an issue there. Victor Santa Fe, this magic word will give you power. You, sir, have the fairy spell.
Did he pick up downstab? It does not look like it.
Who?
Victor Santa Fe?
No, not yet. He just got fairy, so, and does not have jump, so there would have been no way for him to otherwise have downstab at this point.
Well, I was asking because he just picked up fairy if he then went to pick up downstab.
Not as of yet, no. I do not believe he's been in a town since picking up Fairy. And Victor Santa Fe picking up what I believe to be a 1-up doll.
Yep. He finds a little digger. And Countess finds, is it Boss Guma?
That is correct.
He has not, however, found the item room in 5.
Oh, well, that's going to make this interesting because 5 is not a palace you really want to spend time looking for an item in.
And Boss Guma has a lot of health.
You are not meant to take on Boss Guma with attack 3. Just to put that out there. Nor are you supposed to take him on with 3 blocks of life, where 2 hits does you in.
And Countess is going back for another attempt. And Ryan 7 finds that magic container block number 6, which would now let him turn the child in if he had it. RCS with the medicine is going to go turn that in and find his new find what spell he can get out of the harbor town of Mido.
Yeah, I believe at this point, Rose City Saint already picking up his fencing lessons.
And it's Reflect.
So with this magic strengthening a shield, Rose City Saint now has enough to potentially take a gamble into Valley of Death. If it is Palace 4, he will be able to complete it. As of yet, we still have the flute at large, the hammer at large,
And the glove at large.
the glove is at large, yes. So I think this is really a race to find the hammer, because the hammer could lead to both of the other items being in that particular item cave and spectacle rock, respectively.
I think you may be right.
As of now, it is merely a theory, but kind of like a game of Clue. I'm waiting for the game to simply prove me wrong at this point.
But once you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for, at least. So, there's my stance, and I'm sticking to it.
And Countess goes through his secret door, the secret wall, only to find a dead end. Countess clearly is looking for that item room. And he is glove blocked to the left of that elevator.
Oh, that's inconvenient to say the least.
And nice jackhammer strats on that blue iron knuckle. Ryan 7 finding the fairy spell.
Right,
And I notice all of our runners are still going for levels.
Well, when you only have 3 or 4 blocks of life, ideally you'd like to find a heart container, but getting the life levels up is about the only way to really increase your survivability at this point.
This is very true. If you have been enjoying this race so far, since we're close to an hour in, if you've been enjoying this race so far, give these runners a follow. Also want to make sure to shout out again Ginksy Girl, our tracker, and my commentary partner, Frico.
Ooh, it looks like Ryan 7 restarting his quest in the Eastern Continent. He might be trying to have a go at Valley of Death at this point, just to see what's in that area. He knows roughly where it is. And yeah, here we go. Ryan 7 going to attempt the Valley of Death. Though it looks like unable to actually perform the fairy feet maneuver. Still going to use fairy to fly through the forced encounter area. Now it looks like Ryan 7
going to try and trigger an encounter to skip it.
Yeah. We'll see how that works for him, because they are on a timer. So if you just kind of sit there, the monsters will spawn. And it's just a matter of trying to get one to actually spawn to the right of Link to replace the forced encounter tile. And instead, Ryan 7 deciding it's going to save him some time to take a lava bath at the sauna, refill his magic.
And we've got the item. We found the item in Palace 5. Countess has found it. It is the flute.
Oh, that's going to give him a pretty good advantage.
Except I think he still hasn't gotten his down stab.
Well, that's going to give Rose City Saint then a big advantage. Rose City Saint,
RCS just picked it up.
Yeah, he was in the same palace and maybe a room behind, But Rose City Saint should be able to finish Palace 5.
And Valley of Death appears to be 6.
Okay, so the flute's going to lead to Palace 4. So if Rose City Saint or Countess encounter Three-Eye Rock, Rose City Saint we know has Reflect. I do not believe the Countess does.
No, I do not believe Countess has picked up the requisite item to get it.
Ryan 7 getting denied. So now we'll see if we can actually have some damage dealt to Boss Guma. It looks like part of the randomizer will allow a boss to start with up to 12 blocks or as little as 4 blocks worth of life. So I think Boss Guma definitely starting with above 8 blocks.
Maybe not, since it was taking so many hits to get him down after a block was lost too. So
it's definitely true. Attack 4 and Boss Guma is going to a pretty solid equation for a long fight. And without having...
But when you're as good as Rose City Saint, that's still not a it's not an unsafe fight.
Well, Rose City Saint kind of making sure that Guma stays right on the edge of the screen, but because he will not swing his mace at Link if he is in the corner like he is right now. He can still be hit. Oh, and there we go. Rose City Saint gonna finish off Boss Guma and take a decisive lead, picking up a second palace.
Rose City Saint takes a significant lead, and we have a Trails in chat.
And it looks like Victor Santa Fe picking up the child. Finding the item in, I believe this is Palace 2.
Yes, that is 2.
But unfortunately for Victor, I think he's going to get a little bit of bad news, as I believe he will be glove blocked. So here's my new theory. The flute opens up Three-Eye Rock, which we now know is Palace 4. Palace 4 has the hammer, which then gives us the glove at either Spectacle Rock or the other item cave that is hammer blocked.
Except I think that 4 is glove blocked. And Rose City Saint gets shield from Nuke Kasudo.
I don't recall there being a glove block in 4. Again, I reserve all right to be completely and horribly wrong. It was Palace 2 and I believe Palace... 6 that were glove blocked. So we definitely need the glove.
And Countess does find Three-Eye Rock.
And so it'll be a matter of if he activates it and heads on in. He will only need Reflect for the boss, so having the any key, he can definitely have a go at finding the item. Rose City Saint gonna follow Countess in. And it looks like Rose City Saint a little better prepared to tackle this particular palace, as he does have Reflect. I do not believe the Countess, as of yet, has Reflect in his spell sheet.
Okay, I was wrong about... I was just goofy and loopy. It was 6 that he had found. It was 6 that had the glove block.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because there were 2 glove blocks, and I believe it's Palace 2 and Palace 6. And, ooh, looky what we found on Countess's screen.
Halt! And on Rose City Saint's screen as well. Halt! For the hour of the hammer is upon us.
Very much so. And it looks like the Countess immediately noping out of there. I'm surprised not fully up and A-ing and resetting himself back. Or actually, it looks like he did. So he'll be going to bash some boulders and hopefully get some useful items out of there. Victor Santa Fe being taught most powerful magic. So that would be Thunder for Victor Santa Fe.
From the laziest NPC in Hyrule. The one that wants you to go and get water from a fountain 20 yards away.
Alright, so the Countess is going into our glove or hammer blocked cave. And we'll see what's at the end here.
It's going to be the glove. Smell the glove.
Wow, so the Countess now has access to 2 and 6, being able to finish them. As Rose City Saint able to continue through Palace 4 and taking on Karak.
RCS downs Karak. RCS takes a commanding lead of 3 done palaces completed.
Yeah, with no one else able to finish another palace aside from Palace 1, which all of our runners have completed at this point. Rose City Saint showing why he is the defending champion.
Yes, our RCS showing why he's the best around.
No one ever gonna keep you down. You're the best around. It's one of my favorite songs.
And from a great movie, too. Now, if you're Countess, are you? Has he gone and gotten? Yes, he did go and get down stab while he was over here.
Yeah, he just used it to bash a couple blocks. So Countess definitely has downstab.
So what was in 3? Did we figure out what was in 3? We're going to now. It's a heart container.
So the Countess getting a bit of a quality of life upgrade. Ryan 7 picking up the flute, which will lead to the hammer, which will lead to the glove.
And RCS appears to be in full dig shake.
Or to translate away from Zelda 2 Randomizer, Go mode. And it looks like Ryan 7 going to consider using a spell against Boss Guma. It looks like Dodgeball Simulator 2020 trying to...
If you can dodge a mace, you can dodge a ball.
Exactly. And it looks like we have the Countess taking on Rebanak. Rose City Saint doesn't look like he's too far behind on the trail for Rebanak, picking up a second heart container. So Rose City Saint on 5 blocks of life now.
That's useful. It's a nice quality of life upgrade. It's probably not required for a runner of RCS's caliber.
No, but he still picked it up, even though he could have just said no thank you all the same. So I think he's more than happy to see that heart container, given where we're at.
Well, yeah, I would be too, but admittedly, I'm bad at this game.
Oh, stop it.
And I believe that maybe... I believe Countess may be in go mode?
Let's see. Negative. He's lacking his spell sheet.
Ah, lacking in spells. And we have a candle, which is definitely a quality of life upgrade, and one that I would take.
Oh yeah, it's with the finals flags on the Eastern Continent, you could be bombarded with invisible MOAs, and taking a random death and potentially a game over to a random MOA. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I would want. That's why I want the cross. That's why I like having the cross and the candle.
Yeah, the cross being found in Maze Island previously, which I believe our runners are going to have to head back there. Or was that Palace 1?
That was 2. Our runners have to head back there.
Oh, joy. So we get a Maze Island double dip on the...
But at the same time, there was no... there were no encounters between...
Yeah.
And Victor Santa Fe finds the mountain town, finds South Park, the quiet mountain town. Okay, I know upstab is of limited utility, but if I found it and was able to get it, I would.
As I believe you should. You could definitely be blocked in the Great Palace. And that would really suck if you happen to get to an upstab required room, get blocked off, and then have to go back, figure out where to get where to get the upstab. It's kind of like that walk of shame.
What did Victor say? And RCS making his way to the end through the glove blocks. Clears a couple of the true final boss, the bots.
So true. Let's see. Countess looks to be in the Valley of Death, so I believe that's going to be an attempt at Palace 6 for the Countess. Rose City Saint finishing off Palace 2.
And RCS never has to come back to Maze Island. And it looks like RCS may be making a run at 6.
Well, Rose City Saint only has Palace 6 and the Great Palace ahead of him. Ryan 7 into Palace 4.
Oh. I neglected to notice that.
Victor Santa Fe picking up upstab. So the Countess and Rose City Saint both in Palace 6.
Yes, spells is getting the spells away from go mode. Rose City Saint is in go mode.
Yeah, I think the Countess is, as we've previously stated, unfortunately a little
bit lacking in the spells department right now.
Yes. I do not believe it is going to change anything in his immediate future. But Ryan 7 is going to take down Karok in short order here, and it looks like the Countess is about to find a mini-boss.
Or at least we hope Ryan 7's going to take out Karok, and does.
Yeah, there he goes. He's out of there. And it's actually Rose City Saint who finds the mini-boss. Countess actually...
Countess Barba.
Yeah, up against Barba. Getting a nice jackhammer in to take 2 blocks away from Barba's bar.
I would go on a limb and say that Jackhammer is a very red attack for.
Oh, there we go. There goes Barba for the Countess.
Very unfortunate. Countess just misses getting a level from Barba.
And it looks like the Countess gonna go back into Palace 6 to hunt down an item. Unfortunately, Countess is not gonna find anything that I think he's gonna be interested in here. He'll need to go to Maze Island.
Well, Countess magic.
Yeah, Countess needs both Thunder and Reflect still at this point. Which, unfortunately, digging up an item in Palace 6 will help with neither.
RCS in the Barba fight.
Yeah, and that attack 6 doing some work. Barba should fall fairly shortly here, and there it goes. So Rose City Saint only has the Great Palace awaiting him at this point. Everyone else.
And he hesitates before going in, before leaving, to avoid a potential soft lock. Ryan 7 is on Death Mountain, looking looking for either the cave item or spectacle rock. Rose City Saint enters Great Palace at 1:15:35.
Now, one thing to note is, since this is a weekly race, there is the potential of other runners who are not on the restream to finish first. Overall, it is not just these 4 runners that are racing, I believe. So just something to keep in the back of our head as we continue on here.
And RCS in a room I've never seen before.
Are you trying to say you've never made it to the Great Palace before?
Oh no, I've made it to Great Palace. I just never. I have a particular route that I always take in Great Palace that does not go through any room that looks like the one that he had been in there when I said that. And now Rose City Saint working his way through a chicken and waffles room.
Well, this should wow, the Countess going back into 6. Oh no. No. Ryan 7 seems to be lacking a glove still, so gonna try to find a hammer spot for him so that he can get the glove.
Well, it's in the cave that was blocked by the hammer.
Yeah, I think Ryan 7, unfortunately, not able to arrive at that conclusion. Ryan is into the Eastern continent.
Victor Santa Fe finds one of the Rebo mini bosses.
Yeah, I believe he's trying to hunt down the item, and Victor Santa Fe able to find the particular area in question before the Countess. Rose City Saint resetting back to the front of Great Palace. If memory serves me correctly, the Countess is spending all of this time looking for the item in Palace 6, which is a heart container.
And therefore will do Countess no good.
Not really, no. Unfortunately for him.
Rose City Saint back in that chicken and waffles room.
Yeah, I think Rose City Saint found something that he did not like and decided, alright, well, I'm gonna restart. See if I can find a different way through. Ryan 7 into Old Kasuto with all 8 magic containers. And his efforts will yield him the jump spell.
Which, isn't it is it possible that jump is required?
I can't see anywhere it would be required.
One of the drop rooms, doesn't one of the drop rooms in Great Palace require it?
Possibly? I don't believe so, though.
Okay, you can ferry or upstab, apparently. You can... Well, yeah, you can always use ferry.
Well, it looks like the Countess has finally abandoned ship on the dungeon, and it looks like he's ready to explore
looks like
other
ours.
options. Oh yeah, as we see Rose City Saint finding Thunderbird.
And RCS is going to take a deliberate death to reset all the magic. RCS doing Thunderbird at Magic 6.
Well, attack 6. It looks like he has magic 7.
Oh, I thought I said attack 6.
Oh, that's
If I didn't, I was wrong.
Oh well. Definitely be worse, but right now it looks like Rose City Saint, hopefully only a few rooms to go between Thunderbird and Dark Link. Checking the elevator and immediately getting out of there. Think about the one thing Rose City Saint wants to avoid at this point is any kind of a drop-down room.
Right. He instead finds a lag room. And Victor Santa Fe. Okay, Rose City Saint does find a drop. Was that the L7 room?
I did not see it enough to identify it, but Rose City Saint seeing the drop and going,
Rose City Saint is taking the Eon drop.
definitely a risk to take any kind of a drop after Thunderbird. It's entirely possible that you could be put into a spot that is before the Thunderbird, so you kind of loop around, and that's not what you want to do if you're trying to get to the finish line. And unfortunately, it looks like finding a dead end.
Never what you want to see.
No, not at all. Now, Rose City Saint's one advantage at this point is that he has finished Thunderbird. We will not see Thunderbird on his side of the screen at any point going forward. The Countess taking on Helmet Head. And the typical, 15 seconds of fame for Helmet Head.
RCS just continuing to work his way through. Gets to the long empty bridge room. That's not quite so empty after all.
Well, I think this is where Rose City Saint was previously, so a bit of a loop around for Rose City Saint after, and a death for Rose City Saint as well. Looks like a cast of shield for Rose City Saint to try to save as much of his HP as he can. Actually, casting fire.
I'm not entirely sure if he got the memo that fire was not linked to anything.
Oh, Rose City Saint of all people would know that. And it looks like we have an up and A from Rose City Saint, so he's going to reset himself. Unfortunately, that means he's going to have to make his way back to the Thunderbird room and then figure out where he went wrong. And it looks like Ryan 7 into the Valley of Death. The Countess, I believe, item exploring at this point on the overworld. Victor Santa Fe, I believe, is in
He's in 5.
5. Thank you.
And yes, Countess is item exploring on the overworld. Countess finds magic container.
Alright, so Countess needs to turn in the child, if memory serves me correctly. One of the turn-ins is for Fairy, the other for Thunder in Nibiru. Rose City Saint making his way back to Thunderbird, so hopefully he can figure out where he went wrong the first time through and find his way to Dark Link this time around.
Rose City Saint taking a divergence from the route he took last time.
Oh no, so the Countess needs to dig up the medicine.
Picks up the flute. Victor Santa Fe picks up the flute.
Okay, so that'll open up Three-Eyed Rock for Victor Santa Fe, which is Palace 4.
RCS finds a little digger. And Countess learns life. Victor Santa Fe finds Boss Guma with attack.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a rough fight for Victor. Oh, RCS taking a lava bath.
That was that may have been an intentional death to reset magic.
Ah, yeah, that is true. We've got, being on the wrong side of that fairy blocked room, there's a potential refill in the top left for magic, but if you're on the right side of that screen, difficult to get over there as you can't use fairy.
Countess picks up the life spell out of New Kasuto. Not exactly the spell that he was looking for.
No, unfortunately, Reflect is gated behind the medicine, and it looks like Rose City Saint...
And RCS has found Dark Link. And RCS done in first place with an official SRL time of 1:36:27.
Well, that was a bit of a rough Great Palace for Rose City Saint, but all the same, let's get those GGs in the chat. Alright, so my question to you is, did Rose City Saint finish first overall out of all of our runners in the weekly?
Yes.
Okay. So Victor Santa Fe finishing off Boss Guma. It looks like Ryan 7...
Ryan 7 finds that glove block.
Yeah,
and is missing the glove.
Yeah, I was just about to say that glove not lit up in his inventory. This could be a potential forfeit scenario for Ryan 7.
Countess does get reflect.
Okay, so Countess has reflect. I don't believe he has thunder as of yet. So it'll be off to Naburu to get thunder for the Countess. Likely to go to Three-Eyed Rock at this point. Pick up Palace 4.
And then head back over to get Palace 5. Then he'll head back over to get Palace 5 and Great Palace, because they're both on the eastern continent.
Correct. Uh-oh, I hear an intruder alarm going on.
Yes, indeed. How are you guys tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Can only assume you're feeling pretty good with that victory in the weekly race.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The seed, for the most part, was really friendly until GP, which I think was really awful. I had a feeling like I was going to get sniped in that GP, especially after the first branch that it came to. I took the upper path instead of the lower, which led to it felt like a 10-room dead end. So that was pretty awful. And then even afterwards, after I found the right path to T-Bird, I then took a couple of drops after that looped back to the beginning. So even as far as long GP goes, that was one of the ones you don't want to see. I'm not going to say it was one of the worst, but it's an example of what can go wrong.
Just an aside, Victor Santa Fe has managed to pick up the hammer.
Yeah, that was a tricky little fetch quest there, right? You needed the flute out of 5 to get into Palace 4, which has the hammer for glove. So the earlier you went into 5 for the item, the better.
And of course, it has to be Palace 5 because we wouldn't want you to have an easy item in a different palace, would we?
No, not at all. I mean, when you're doing finals flags, it's a little less scary to do 5 because you're going to have to come closer to full clearing the game anyway than you would for something like brackets. But yeah, that's not the first thing you want to jump into. But oh my god, I also really hated Death Mountain. It's the first cave in was Hammer Cave, but you struggle through it early and it was a pea bag. That was an insult. that was not the sequence I
from that pea bag though.
I did. It took me from life 3 to life 4, which I mean hardly mattered really, even at the time. I thought about holding on to the experience and stretching for attack 3 at that time, but I mean, one false move and I would game over, and I didn't want that mess. So I just cut my losses, take life 4.
A lot of early P bags in this seed, and Countess finishes off Palace 4.
Yeah, the P bags were prolific early. I was really I was convinced this was going to be a 3 heart container max seed, but I found a couple others. I know one was in Palace 3. Don't really remember where the other one was, but it was a nice luxury. There was no jump. That was like the spell I didn't get, which actually would have been helpful in GP because there, I felt like I went through like a dozen waffle rooms, and jump would have made life a lot easier there.
You know, that's...
And Victor Santa Fe finds Karak. Makes quick work of Karak.
Yeah, Victor Santa Fe casts Disappear on Karak, and Karak
and it's
is...
super effective.
Yes.
Did I just do things strangely in this seed, or was this Eastern continent really kind of strange with like you needed 3 consecutive pass-through caves to get anywhere, like in the north, like the area that had Darunia and the item caves with the magic containers? Did I miss something?
I don't think so, but, you know, consider the source on that one.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think so either. I tried
I don't
to do
believe you missed anything there.
I'm glad to hear that because, yeah, it would disappoint me if I just airheaded and went through 3 unnecessary caves. I think I tried to coast walk on both coasts to try to get to the northern area, and I think it was sealed off. It was you needed to do some digging to find that area. Strange. But on the other hand, it was a very free and easy Western continent. So that's usually how it goes, right? If you get one good continent, the other one is going to be bad.
It was a fairly free and easy Western continent that had nothing on it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I had the boots. I am grateful for early boots. Other than that, yeah, I mean, the magic key as well, but you had fairy early and fairy was cheap, so if that's the case, that kind of takes a little bit of the luster away from the magic key. Magic containers would have been nice. When the game holds out on magic containers and finals flags, that usually equals a lot of backtracking.
Oh, Ryan 7 having a bit of a struggle with the glove here. Choosing to joust with it a little bit before picking it up. I think that was definitely something holding Ryan 7 back in this particular run.
Some creative killing of the glove.
Approaching it from every possible direction.
I dare say a little bit of frustration showing there.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. Now, with this particular seed done and dusted for you, Rose City Saint, I think there's something that we're gonna have to bring up here.
Go ahead.
A little something you got going on Thursday.
Oh yeah, those are the reason I wanted to play these flags tonight. I take on Dig Shake in the Z2R finals Thursday night 9:30. So be on the lookout for that. If he beats me, it's curtains for me.
And we wish you the best of luck in that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need it. Always a difficult opponent. Finals flags can be tricky.
So another thing I wanted to ask you about, and it's more a continuation of what I asked about in the last race. Is there anything that you think would stand in your way in the way of how the seed is presented to you that could cause you problems, or do you feel that whatever gets thrown at both Dig Shake and yourself on Thursday, where do you see yourself in that sort of interaction?
It's going to be a fair fight. As far as what kind of seed I don't want to see, if the glove happens to be in something like 3 or 6, that's not usually a good sign for me. I try to do things in a little bit of a safer order than that. So that's more or less all I'm hoping for, is that my normal sort of MO about trying to do things in a safe, natural sequence. I just hope that works to my advantage. That's how I like to play. I always get sort of fearful of throwing away time by doing something like jumping into 6 without the glove. There's plenty of other players who love to do that, but if there's something that will cause me to not succeed in a palace, I really try to stay away. Like even in this case here tonight, we saw me I tried to do palace 2 without the glove, and you needed the glove to reach the boss. So I dislike doing things like that.
So anything that would really cause you to double dip into a dungeon.
Yeah, that's where I try to save my time. I'm not afraid to sort of take my time in the overworld, but I really like to streamline these dungeons, and that's why I frequently look further behind than I am, like in a gem count. Like I might only have 1 gem placed to my opponent's 3 or 4, but that's because I've, sort of narrowed everything down, and I know what I need to do, and just make quick work of them palaces.
Yeah, I've seen that on more than one occasion, where
Totally.
I'm like, Victor.
Speaking of quick, Evan makes very quick work of Rebanak.
I think it was Victor Santa Fe against you in one of the early bracket matches. I'd have to look it up. But I'm sitting here going, oh, Rose City Saint's going to get taken down as a 1 seed. This other guy's so far ahead. And then you kind of see the madness to the method there as the time all starts to come back because of those decisions you made, yielding the returns later on in the run.
Yeah, it seems to me that a lot of the top runners prefer to just really cut the corners in the overworld and take their chances in the palaces, and I sort of play the other way around. I don't leave anything to chance in the overworld, and I I try to streamline those palaces. How often do you ever see me really with a gem lead? That's
Well,
not really how I
usually-
play.
Well, tonight, yeah, that's definitely true. I think that's just you being able to decipher the seed better than everyone else that was restreamed.
Yeah, I am surprised to see the other players that are that far behind me, like no one in GP yet. It was fairly straightforward seed. It's not as if I went straight into 5 for the flute or anything like that. So I don't know where I gained that much time on the other runners. Unless they missed something, they missed the cave that gets you to the northern area with the 2 magic containers. That could be a thing.
For Victor Santa Fe, it was definitely the raft that he struggled with. Countess was in the lead early on, relatively speaking, found a lot of items, and then somewhere along the way, it just sort of disappeared, lead-wise. It just... there's no real way for me to describe it. It was just like the Countess went into Palace 6 and then spent what felt like 10 minutes trying to dig the item out of Palace 6.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. And yeah, that's one of the reasons I try to avoid those scenarios if I can. P6 in particular can get very funky.
Ryan 7... let's see if I can remember what Ryan 7 kind of did.
He didn't go to the mall, did he?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what Ryan 7 did or didn't do, and I can't think of anything straight away. But definitely went into Palace 2 and got glove blocked, and I believe the same for Palace 6. So it was, just those wastes of time that next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, Cool Calm collected Rose City Saint, just kind of going through, taking what he's given, and next thing you know...
And Countess finishes off Boss Guma, places his 5th gem.
I believe that's all 6 for Countess at this point.
Yeah, that is all gems placed for Countess.
So the Countess looking to get into the Great Palace 20 minutes past Rose City Saint finishing Great Palace.
And it was a lengthy Great Palace, I gotta say.
Yeah, you were in there for...
It was over 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were in at around 112, if memory serves correctly.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I thought it was 115, but yeah, it was at least 21 minutes.
Well, the timers we have to work with are not entirely official. And I'm also kind of going off of memory, which... I'm old, so, my memory is about as useful as,
Countess into GP at 153.
Yeah, so, it looks like we're gonna go probably 2.5 hours with this seed.
Wow, yeah. We have, I'm sorry, we have one really good runner off stream, too, and, I'm waiting for him to finish. I haven't pulled his stream up yet. I have no idea where he is, but the fact that he hasn't finished yet either is pretty remarkable. Possibly any time now.
Well, Ryan 7 is in the Valley of Death. Victor Santa Fe taking on Barba. So Victor Santa Fe only will have Palace 3 remaining. Ryan 7 has 5 and 6 remaining. Ryan 7 finishing out the Valley of Death and into Palace 6. The Countess starting on Great Palace.
I'm actually going to cut out now, but thank you guys for the commentary and the restream. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
thank you.
Sure.
We'll be seeing each other in a couple days. Good luck. Hopefully you push it to a true final game.
Perfect. Yeah.
Tournament.
I'd love nothing more. Are you planning on commentating that race?
Yes. I don't know who with at this point.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for volunteering, and we'll appreciate having you there. I'll see you guys Thursday night then.
Yeah. Good luck, Rose City Saint. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Best of luck to you, RCS.
Appreciate it.
Countess finding his way through a lag room.
Yeah, but unfortunately, taking a death. It looks like Victor Santa Fe going to be into Palace 3. If Victor Santa Fe can pull this off before Ryan 7's able to finish Palace 5 and 6, can we call it a bit of a comeback for Victor Santa Fe? Not necessarily in finishing first, but at least finishing before Ryan 7.
I think we could.
So I think that start for Victor Santa Fe was not the greatest. But Ryan 7 up against Barba, so we'll see how well he fares there. Victor Santa Fe making his way through Palace 3. Oh, and the Countess getting a dead end for his troubles.
Ryan 7 just about has Barba down. Ryan 7 completes Barba.
So the race is on for Victor Santa Fe and Ryan 7 to see who will be next into Great Palace. The Countess only requiring the remainder of Palace 3. So once Victor Santa Fe only needing it, the Countess is into the Great Palace already. Ryan 7 needing to get to and go through Palace 5. Victor Santa Fe going through Palace 3.
This has been a very challenging seed so far. Well, the whole way through.
Very much so. This is the finals flags of the Z2R tournament. So this is a taste of what you're gonna find. Definitely the difficulty dial cranked up, as opposed to what I think we would normally see in a weekly race.
By the way, Victor Santa Fe downs Rebenak. That's going to clear Palace 3.
Yeah, so it looks like Victor Santa Fe might be able to join the Countess in Great Palace in fairly short order. Ryan 7 into Palace 5, so going to be hoping to find Guma sooner rather than later.
As I recall, Guma was not exactly easy to find.
No. Palace 5 is one of the more expansive palaces. So you're just kind of at a point where you just kind of go, ew. So it looks like...
And right on 2 hours, Victor Santa Fe is in GP.
And the Countess finding the Thunderbird room, it looks like he should have enough done. Pausing to do a little bit of math. Can I cast Thunder and, well, no shield, so possibly Thunder Reflect and, or Thunder and Life. Let's see, let's do some math. 48 and 48 is 96.
Thunder plus life is 103.
Yeah, so unfortunately the Countess does not have enough magic to cast both Thunder and Life. So it'll be Thunder and Reflect, hoping to... well, if you can dodge a mace, you can dodge a fireball. Oh, the Countess had it so... Oh, no, and a game over, too. Oh.
That's painful.
Oh, that's just a low blow. So now, technically, Victor Santa Fe slightly ahead of the Countess, as the Countess knows the proper path, but will have to go back to the Thunderbird fight. Victor Santa Fe being a couple more rooms in, by proxy, has taken over what could potentially be second place overall.
Still no finishers from off stream.
Now, one thing I'd like to... to go back to the thought that was fleeting in my mind, I believe next week we'll start one of the more popular weekly Build a Flag Set series.
I was going to say Max Rando?
Well, that I think is going to be coming up soon as well. But speaking strictly from a tournament sense, that will be the next tournament. But oh no, Victor Santa Fe getting caught in a little prison riot. Gonna
those chicken and waffle rooms can be tough.
Yeah, especially without jump. You can just jump over them and forge a path above where the chickens are. And Victor Santa Fe
Victor Santa Fe, a room ahead of Kaunas.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Victor Santa Fe is actually digging for magic. He will have to take a death otherwise. And I'm not sure if he can actually afford this death or not.
School girly in chat. I've commentated on one of those. 1 heart container start, 1 heart container max seed.
Yeah, and it looks like Victor Santa Fe is actually stuck. It looks like he's going to be trying to farm this bot, hoping for a drop. While the Countess looks to be doing pretty well in round 2 with Thunderbird. And Ryan 7 looks to be into the Great Palace as well at this point. So it looks like Victor has just kind of said, all right, well, I can cast Thunder, and that's just going to be the hand I'm dealt right now. And with Thunderbird down to 4 blocks, the fireballs are coming fast and furious. So we'll see if Victor Santa Fe can manage the 2 final blocks of life off Thunderbird. There goes 1.
And we have a second finisher off stream. It is Jay Coper with an official SRL time of 2:07:19.
And speaking of finishes, Victor Santa Fe finishes off the Thunderbird, so allowed to continue at this point. The race is on between the Countess and Victor Santa Fe at this point.
And Victor Santa Fe heads what we know to be the wrong way.
And it looks like Ryan 7 doing something here. I'm hoping that's just a bit of a glitch there, but or something with, I'll blame it on OBS with whatever's going on with Ryan's screen. It looks like looping back a little bit of Yeah, unfortunately, not sure what's going on with Ryan 7's screen, so we'll focus on Victor Santa Fe and the Countess for now.
And Countess is in a one of those chicken and waffles rooms. Ryan 7 heading into Great Palace. Meanwhile, Victor Santa Fe and Countess are heading back to where they fought Thunderbird.
Alright, so let's speculate a little bit. Who do you think is in a better position at this point between Countess and Victor Santa Fe to finish second out of our restreamed runners? Because they are maybe half a room away from each other at this point?
I would say Countess because of the extra block of health, the extra block of max health. That gives Countess just a little bit more room for error.
Well, looks like the Countess is the first to again reach the Thunderbird room. So a little bit of a checkpoint for our runners, as Ryan 7 is now joining the party.
Ryan 7 into the Thunderbird fight.
Yeah, so Victor Santa Fe and the Countess just going past the Thunderbird room. Ryan 7 at the halfway point, as it were. Oh, the Countess finding a dead end. I believe Victor Santa Fe following in Rose City Saints' footsteps. I remember seeing the fairy room on Rose City Saints' screen, pretty close to the end of where he found Dark Link.
I remember seeing it on the way.
So Victor Santa Fe is going to find a dead end here at the end of this room, I believe.
Meanwhile, Ryan 7 downs T-Bird.
So this has become a bit of a three-way action here. Victor Santa Fe finding his dead end. So the Countess actually going back up the elevator. I think Victor Santa Fe is going to head left here. No, not heading left. Thinking about it, trying to get that chicken out of the way. And it looks like Victor Santa Fe picking up the one-up doll, so valuing his remaining lives. Probably going to consider taking a death if he needs to. Oh, the Countess is actually kind of pinned on top of a chicken. Oh, this is so sick.
And I think Santa Fe is going the wrong. Yeah, Santa Fe is going the wrong way. There, Victor Santa Fe is going the wrong way again. Countess is headed the right direction.
Yeah, taking that ferry room, because I remember making the remark about the refill being on that side when Rose City Saint took his death.
And those sine wave dragon heads. And Countess into the Dark Link room. Victor Santa Fe in the in that lava room.
Yeah, not too far behind, so... I think Countess should be able to finish this off before Victor Santa Fe makes his way to Dark Link.
And Countess .Duns with an official SRL time of 2:18:02.
Yeah, let's get those GGs in for Countess. Victor Santa Fe looks to be a little puzzled here as to what the proper path is. And it looks like... Oh,
it is
no,
in the
Victor
Eon Drop room, and we know the Eon Drop is not right.
Yeah, that is unfortunately true for Victor Santa Fe.
This has been a marathon of a seed.
Yeah, very much so. You know, sometimes you just kind of go, all right, this is going to be a bit of a run. Certain runners that may not be of Rose City Saints caliber. I don't want to say they're overmatched, but it's definitely a learning experience for runners who may not be as familiar with what to expect from these flags.
Well, they are definitely a challenge. They're way more of a challenge than I'd be able to complete.
I think if I didn't give myself any kind of a time limit, or I just kind of went, alright, I am going to take like the next day or two and just sort of play through the seed. Almost just to learn what I could or couldn't do in certain situations. Might be worth it, but I think definitely I would say I'm overmatched by the seed. And I think Victor Santa Fe is digging himself into a hole further and further after taking the Eon drop, and it'll be another little while, unfortunately, before Victor realizes he's in a loop.
And that is unfortunate. That's unfortunate, especially when all Victor really needed to do was to take a lava dive. In the ferry room and ferry across it.
Yeah. The great thing of having our point of view is we can see more than what the runners do. So unfortunately for Victor Santa Fe, we cannot convey that information off to them. So Victor Santa Fe found his way back to the Thunderbird room. I believe Ryan 7 is just outside of the Thunderbird room. So this is a bit of a race now between Victor Santa Fe and Ryan to see who will be able to finish. With Victor Santa Fe having a bit of information at his disposal.
But isn't it right? Wasn't it right to go down the elevator in this room? Yes, and Victor Santa Fe heads back and goes down the elevator.
And it looks like Ryan 7 is on his way down the elevator as well. We'll see if Ryan decides to try to take on our little chicken. Nope. Looks like Victor Santa Fe deciding doesn't want any part of the chicken, so Ryan's going to find a dead end here at the end of this hall, so no big, no true loss for Ryan here. I think he'll go back and try to take on the funky chicken in the room previous. One up on the elevator.
I was gonna say I think we'll see Ryan let the chicken knight drop into the elevator shaft.
You know, Ryan's a little too careful here, but it looks like Victor Santa Fe is on the right path. Ryan picking up the 1-up doll.
If I recall correctly, it was only about 2 or 3 rooms from here.
Yeah, this, I believe, should be a linear path to the end for Victor Santa Fe.
I believe it is, because I believe the waffle room with the sine wave beds was the room before Dark Link.
You are correct. So Victor Santa Fe about to take on Dark Link. And we'll see if Ryan 7 is able to deduce the proper direction.
Well, okay, I guess in Victor Santa Fe's case, dark lady with a bowl on her head.
Dark Village woman.
And that'll do it with an official SRL time of 2:28:16. And Ryan 7 making the correct play in the ferry room.
Yeah, so this one should be over soon for our restreamed runners. Ryan 7, just a few rooms remaining, as well as the Dark Link fight, which should go fairly quickly.
And Ryan 7 into the Dark Link room.
Oh, sounds like we have a
we have a Victor Santa Fe. Welcome,
Hey,
GG
guys.
to you.
Hey, GG. Wow, this one was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed it. I like playing this game casually. And I really enjoyed this one, and I really messed up at the beginning because I was confused by the overworld. I thought the section that Parappa Cave led to was the same section that was beyond the swamp on the left. So yeah, I was missing the raft, which was in the grass tile, and I was missing another cave that had something important. So yeah, I spent some time doing stupid stuff, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna say this. I think these trails will have killed this seed. This is a trails seed all over the place. But yeah, it was great. It was a nice seed.
And Ryan 7 finishes into 29:53.
Ooh, GG.
So, is there anything you'd like to say real quick, Victor? Unfortunately, I think this seed has taken a toll on the lot of us, and it's about that time where we're going to wrap things up.
Yeah, we're really sorry. We like playing this kind of long seed every once in a while, and yeah, first place was on hour 36 minutes, so that it was a pretty long seed. But yeah, sorry guys for keeping you up, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, that's all
So
right.
I feel no remorse.
I mean, we stuck around to make sure everybody would finish that was on the restream. Ryan 7 just finishing up a little bit after you, and I don't want to cut you off with the interview, but oh boy, has this one been a little rough for me. I'm going, all right, hopefully we'll be done before 2 hours. Hopefully we'll be done before 2.5 hours. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, in the chat before we started, and if you check my file names, it says 4-hour stream hype. Let me see if you still have my image. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, it was a rough
yeah,
one.
I saw it. I saw it at the beginning, and I'm just like, please no, don't do this to me, Victor. I'll cut the stream
I feel
before.
kind of proud for some things here. I had a good fight with Guma, and I had a perfect Thunderbird fight on my last life. And I got a jar that allowed me to fight Thunderbird the first time. So yeah, some nice things happen besides me messing up the rest of the seed.
Yeah, and there it is. We see it on the.
So yeah, guys,
stream.
thanks for the restream. Thanks for the commentary and everything, tracking and putting the show together. It really helps this community. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything you want to shout out real quick, Victor, before we send you on your way and call it a night?
Well, I just want to remind everyone, if you enjoyed this race as much as we did, give these runners a follow. And big shout out to our tracker, who was Gingsy Girl. And my commentary partner, Frico.
Yeah, I think it's
Jinxie Girl, sorry.
Yeah, Jinxie Girl. It's pronounced more like a J than a G, but
and of course, my commentary partner, Frico. And the Speed Gaming family of channels.
So, with all that done and dusted, I guess our next dose of Zelda 2 Randomizer will be Thursday with the finals of the tournament, Rose City Saint to see if he can defend his title against the still to be undefeated this year Dig Shake. Rose City Saint was in the winner's slot, and Dig Shake trying to run it back from the loser's bracket last year. Rose City Saint took the loss in the first game, but was able to beat Dig Shake the second time around to secure the title. This time around, Dig Shake has the advantage, so we'll see if history will repeat itself, or if we have a one and done with Dig Shake taking the title from Rose City Saint.
I expect that's going to be a heck of a...
Yeah, I'm expecting a pretty close race. Definitely two very skilled runners that definitely deserve to be in the finals against each other. So I think with that said, I believe you've handled most of the formalities with all of the thankings. I thank you for tolerating my nonsense, and we'll see each other around, and at this point I believe it's time to say have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.